30 Rock was a show I always heard about but never watched.
30 Rock was a head writer's struggle to create order in a world of chaos.
30 Rock was a show that took place at 30 Rockefeller Center.
Darth, anytime you're ready.
30 Rock is a very meta kind of show about comedy television, comedy writing.
Fantastic. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. You know the rules. In the comments below, just tell us what you'd like us to review, in which case, if you wanted us to see 30 Rock, you would have said WTF 30 Rock, or WTF Friends, or WTF Wings, or WTF Empty Nest. That stands for Watch the First, and then we might do it. You never know.
Right, those are Wings and Empty Nest that got me.
Yeah, everybody wants to see Wings and Empty Nest. So let's introduce everybody.
The Jeffersons.
Today,
Yes.
Jeffersons 227, amen, good times, what's happening now, you know. With us today, our special guest co-host, Dr. Muhammad Noor.
Hello, always a pleasure to be on Falling Tower.
Good save. That was a close one. You almost
Yeah,
said
I almost messed up.
I know.
Dr. Muhammad Noor, everybody knows, is the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Duke University. Also a great guy. We have Melissa Longo here, who is an actress. She makes stuff, walking art made by Melissa. You know her on The Seventh Rule and Virtual TrekCon. It's Melissa Longo, everybody.
Mm-hmm. And 30 Rock. You
Right.
can see.
I don't understand.
It's a fun little screen grab.
Yeah.
She's on 30
this
Rock.
is 30 Rock. And if you see over there, right there, the
No.
person with the stripy hat and the teal scarf and the cream coat.
Whoa, that's you.
Wow.
Wait, oh, wow. I see it now. Oh, my goodness. All the way over to the
Wow.
side with the
Yeah.
with the striped beanie and the cream colored
Wow.
jacket and green scarf is
Yeah.
Melissa Longo, star of 30 Rock.
Holy moly.
Everybody
That's awesome.
understands this is why we had her on as a guest, because she
Yeah,
is a
nice.
star of 30 Rock. So of course
You
she's gonna rate it.
clearly knew.
Sorry.
Wow. That's
You
awesome.
can tell that scene is about your character.
Oh,
And,
totally. Totally.
We also have
We buying a hot dog?
Yeah, so
We
that's
also
how
have,
we decided.
Darth Shuey here, who coincidentally is 30 and rocks.
Nice. Yeah. Just turned 30. So thank you. For that.
Your birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Darth. All right,
Finally
well,
got
let's
that
have
time
some
machine I
fun,
always wanted.
everybody. Let's get up into this thing and talk about 30 Rock on NBC. We're going to start with the game, my favorite game. I love it the most. It's, well, we could just call it whatever we want now. It's predictions, prediculations, predicaments.
Predicaments.
We make predictions
Predicaments.
on whether we think the other person liked it. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to say that Dr. Muhammad Noor, I think that you liked this show. I think you liked it pretty solidly, fairly high. Melissa Longo, I think you liked this show even a little bit more than Muhammad. Like if Muhammad's jumping around 8, you're jumping around 9. Darth Shuey is always a wild card because he likes bullshit sometimes, but he also hates good stuff. But he also doesn't like good stuff sometimes. So you never know where he might stand. But then other times he's spot on with other things. So he's quite the wild card. I'm going to say Darth giggled and laughed and also liked this. What do you think, Muhammad?
So Ryan, I know, likes shows that have heart. I think this one potentially did. So I think you're going to come off pretty positive, like in the somewhere in the 8-ish range, maybe a little bit upward with that. I think Melissa's going to be similar. I mean, I love her sense of humor. And I think this might match that kind of sense of humor. So we'll see. Darth having an effing clue. I'll guess. I'll say 7. I don't know.
What do you think,
Good
Melissa?
guess, Mike.
Oh, Darth, no hints. He's like, oh, that's a good guess.
no, I'm
That's
just
spot
saying
on.
I'm not gonna be good at guessing the numbers that are gonna guess, but I think Muhammad enjoyed it. He likes jokes, and he's a pretty positive fella. Ryan is always difficult to predict for me because he's a bit snooty when it comes to TV shows. But
You said snooty, right?
snooty,
Naughty.
Okay.
snooty, snobby.
Aw.
No, but I think he enjoyed it too. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he enjoyed it. Darth, since I
is the
said
wild
the
card.
other two liked it, I'm gonna say that you liked it too, just to keep things even.
Wow. So far, everybody says that everybody liked it. What do you think, Darth?
Well, okay, obviously art, comedy is very subjective, but I feel like this is kind of one of those crowd pleaser shows. Like it's just solid all around. All the performers, all the writing, super solid. So I'm gonna say everybody gave it fairly high marks. I don't really get the sense of the heart, like at least in this episode, too much. But definitely the comedy is pretty solid, and all the performers are pretty solid. So yeah, what do you say? Maybe everybody's gonna go in the 7 to 8 range.
Darth has a knack for turning predictions about other people into a review of how he feels about the show. He's like, well, it's a really good show. It's super funny, all around. So I think you guys liked it.
That being said,
Ain't fair. That's what we all do. We always see other people through our own eyes. So
Okay, so everybody at home gotten some pretty good hints. It seems like everybody thinks that all of us liked it fairly decently to pretty high. So make your predictions. Do you want to go out on limbs? Do you want to play it safe? In the live chat or in the comments below, tell us what you think. Do you think Ryan liked it? Melissa, Muhammad, Darth? What do you think? And while you're typing all that stuff in feverishly, no sweat, no rush, no hurry, Dr. Muhammad Noor is going to buy you a little bit of time by telling you what this show is even about.
all right. So in this show, Tina Fey plays Liz Lemon, head writer for The Girly Show on NBC. In this episode, she's faced with even more challenges than usual when her old boss is replaced by a rather arrogant and slightly creepy new vice president named Jack, played by Alec Baldwin. Tasked with bringing eccentric celebrity Tracy Jordan to the show, she has a series of misadventures around town, but comes to appreciate that despite Tracy's behavior, he may actually be able to help the show in unexpected ways. Oh, and they all learn to watch out for non-actor cats.
Excellent. Very well done. You'd make Michael
you.
Kenyon Rosenberg proud.
Yeah.
My role model.
Everybody's role model. Okay, what's next? Okay, this is when we compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. Muhammad likes to call it
Expectations.
Yes.
Dart's like, I missed the memo.
Yeah, I didn't even. My brain couldn't even put that together. What is it? What is it?
Expectations. What you expect, get, and then chuns.
Yeah, it's what we expect versus what we got, of course. So, so we'll go with Dr. Muhammad Noor first. Before you watched this first episode of 30 Rock, what did you expect, if anything?
I honestly knew almost nothing about it, aside from the fact that it had Tina Fey and Alec Baldwin. I mean, besides that, I knew it was something that had been on the air for a long time. I knew it was a comedy. I vaguely knew it had to do with some sort of network thing, but that's really about the extent of what and I guess, I said it was comedy. Yeah. I mean, I'd heard people say it was funny, but I'd never actually watched an episode before preparing for the show. So my expectations were fairly minimal.
Yeah. What about you, Malissa? Did you have any expectations? What did you expect?
Well, I expected a show that I ignored for a really long time because of all the critical acclaim that it got. I'm kind of a ornery person when it comes to that kind of stuff. If everybody loves it, then I'm like, I'm not going to watch it just because everybody says it's good. I'm going to figure that out for myself. So I just knew it was a sitcom. And that I'd never seen before, but people talked a lot about.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Darth? What did you expect before you saw this first episode? Oh, and I am so sorry. This first episode of 30 Rock is entitled Pilot. Just like 90% of the first episodes. I really actually appreciate it when shows have a first episode that's called something other than Pilot. Or episode 1 or chapter 1.
Sounds so generic, yeah.
Yeah, because most of these first episodes never have a pilot in them. So I don't know why they are named Pilot.
So Darth, what did you expect before you saw this first episode entitled Pilot?
Can I mention that I watched this show a little bit like before it was on the air? Okay, so I'd seen I was watching the show. I don't know, maybe a season or two, something like that. So, but I one thing I was not well, I don't know if I was expecting it to be so solid right out the gate, because everybody's just so solid on the show, So maybe I just was not expecting it to be as good right off the bat, maybe. Or is that the opposite of your question?
I think you're giving a review again. Like, what did you expect before you watched the show? Well, I didn't expect that it was going to be such a great show, which it was a great show. And so Darth doesn't leave anything to the imagination. He doesn't make us guess. He gives us the answers, makes it easy on us. So, yeah, I'll tell you what I expected before I watched this first episode. Well, I'd never seen one episode or even possibly 1 minute of this show. And like Malissa, I'd heard, the acclaim. And I feel as though I wasn't super pressured, but I feel as though quite a few times in my lifetime, people say, oh, it's really good. You should watch it. Now, I didn't resist it because people said it, but it didn't change my mind at all. I'm like, hey, if, I don't care how many people say a sitcom is good, it doesn't encourage me or tempt me to go watch the sitcom. I'm not really interested in watching sitcoms anyway, to be honest. So didn't do anything. So I expected it to be good because everybody says it's good. That's about it. I knew it was going to be a lot of Saturday Night Live people, which again doesn't necessarily mean anything. There could be a lot of SNL people, and then it's like fan service, or people just like the show because it's got all their favorite actors from the 90s or, whatever it is. Right. So I expect it to be good, but I wasn't sure if it was really going to be good because it could just be fan service stuff or whatever. But that's what we expected. Mohammed, what did you actually get?
And the thing that struck me the most was how good all the performances were. Obviously, Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, they're all very well established. They're not people who are new to Hollywood, but wow, their performances were really, really good. Jane Krakowski, I think she is fantastic. I love seeing her in any show.
Which one is she?
Funny. She's the one who played Jenna, the star of the show. Yeah,
blonde lady.
So she's on your picture. She's the one on the far right.
Yeah. The one that got peed in her eyeball.
Yeah, exactly. And it was holding the cats and got scratched with the cats. Yeah, so the performances I thought were great. The thing which surprised me was it was less slapstick, I guess, than I expected. It was funny, but it was kind of the subtle sort of funny throughout. It wasn't this, constant joke, crazy thing happened, joke. I mean, there were some of those, but they were more spaced out than say, or it was less extreme than say, a contrast to another sitcom. Say, Everybody Hates Chris. There's crazy stuff happening all the time and Everybody Hates Chris. This one's more subtle. It's kind of spread out. So I enjoyed it. It was good. I mean, I'll pause there. Let other people go.
What about you, Malissa? What did you actually get? You expected to fight this thing tooth and nail, but then what happened?
But then I am a Jedi, and and I got
That's right.
and then I got, hey, my brother's tool. Hey, Deborah.
I love that, the Ray Romano impression.
Yes. I got a funny show that was it had a good pace to it. It didn't drag ever. It was constantly moving, and one of the scenes was shot on my block where I used to live on 125th Street. I lived between Morningside and Amsterdam, but the little soul food cafe was on the corner of Morningside and 125th Street. I was like, oh, I used to walk past that place every time I went to the subway. So that was pretty cool. But it was good. Dynamic characters and some funny moments that didn't hit you on the head, but were kind of subtle, giggly moments for me.
Was that Manhattan?
Manhattan, up in Harlem. Yeah.
Okay. Darth, we're all dying to know because we have no clue how to read you. What did you actually get? Did you enjoy this show? Was it solid? What do you think?
It was solid. How did you know I was going to say that?
Amazing.
Man, Ryan. Yeah, solid, great performances. Is that we're saying what we expected, what we got? No.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Yeah, I got what I expected. Yeah, everybody's funny. Alec Baldwin is top 10. No, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna say it's probably my top in my top 5 famous murderers. I think is that political or too political?
Did you say top 5 famous murderers?
Famous murderers. Yeah.
Now, when you say top 5, do you mean like top 5? Like, what's the top 5 measuring? How famous they are, or your favorite ones, or what?
The number of people killed,
or is it like involuntary manslaughter, like Matthew Broderick, or
Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner,
Barbara Bush.
Damn, we got some famous murderers.
Right? Didn't Barbara Bush kill somebody like in a car accident? I thought she did.
Is that right?
Oh, really?
I thought so. Same thing with Caitlyn Jenner, I believe, on the PCH. Anyway, please continue, Darth. So, top 5. I still want to know what this top 5 is a measurement of. If it's like, you mean like your top 5 favorite famous.
Yeah, like
that have killed things, or
because they're famous, or because they're killers. Yeah, it's a tough.
Anyway,
just trying to make Alec Baldwin murder joke. But yeah, no. What's her name? Obviously, it's based on her life, right? Her Saturday Night Live experience and everything.
I don't know.
Tina Fey.
Yeah. It's like a fun little slice from her life, I'd say. I don't know. And I'm sure a lot of it is very autobiographical, some of the eccentric stuff he's had to experience. Ryan, you're a pretty big Tracy Morgan fan too, no?
That's right, Tina. So I'll tell you what.
Did he just say pumpkin to me?
I'll tell you what I actually got. And that's true. I had forgotten that I had mentioned that I'm a Tracy Morgan fan. I just like the way in Weekend Update when they would say something and he would go, "That's right, Tina." But okay, so what did I actually get? I got a show that was, I guess, better than I expected. It was pretty good. I was kind of coming in like this, like, okay, you better prove that you're good. I was ready to not like it. I was already kind of ready to hate on it and be like, it's not that good, you guys. It's not that good. And, compared to how people lauded it, it's not there. But of course, I'm basing it what people talk about the series, and I'm talking about just the first episode. So obviously, maybe the series is great. The first episode was good, and it was a little better than I expected. And I too really liked the blonde lady. I was like, I didn't recognize her. I recognized everybody else, including this blonde dude. What's this guy's name? Who's this guy?
Oh, Jack McBriar. What's his name? Jack McBriar, I think.
I don't know, some guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, the blonde guy. I definitely recognized him, and I'm like, is he just super famous because of this show, or has he been in other things? I don't know, but I definitely recognize him. But yeah, the blonde lady I didn't recognize, but I was like, oh, she's got grit.
She was in Ally McBeal. I remember she was a meme in that show for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, you used to watch that one, right?
Oh man, I've got the whole videotape collection that I taped over my 1989 Emmy Awards with it. Anyway, okay. Well, so that's cool. It does sound like we all kind of enjoyed it, but here's a bonus question for everybody to enjoy. And I think Muhammad knows where it's going. He may already know. Who is your favorite character? I know it's a toughie. Look at Darth is leaning back in his chair because he's so like, boy, I'm really gonna have to pull down the power of Mercury on this one, aka Hermes.
It's an easy one.
Okay, well, Darth, if it's so easy, who is your favorite character? I'm gonna guess Alec Baldwin.
No, he is up there, but Tracy, what's his name? Tracy Jordan.
Yeah. Why?
I'm trying to think of one. He just the same thing. Tracy Morgan just killed me. He's one of those guys. Just his delivery is it's like Rodney Dangerfield. It's just spot on. It doesn't matter what he says. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Rodney Dangerfield.
One line that he said that was killing me, and I wanted to remember it to mention it.
No respect.
This is only the 12th time Rodney Dangerfield has been mentioned on this podcast.
Number 12.
Malissa, did you have a favorite? And if so, who was it?
I don't know. Flip-flopped between people because when the one guy came up and he said, "Here's your hemorrhoid cream."
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Right when she's in front of Alec Baldwin.
Great timing.
Yes. And that gave me a chuckle. So they all had some moments where I was like, But I think I'm going to go with Tracy as well. Just a little bit extra. Just a little bit extra because he went places that I didn't expect him to go, or for his character to go, and yeah. So he was kind of a surprise for me, a pleasant surprise. I liked everyone else's performance, but I kind of expected those performances from them. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, that makes sense.
But Tracy, he was a surprise for me, so I'm gonna pick him.
What about you, Muhammad?
I pretty much said already. Jenna Maroney, Jane Krakowski's character. I thought she was hilarious. And again, I always love her whenever I see her show. She's so like over the top hilarious. Yeah, I like the scene with her with the cats. Oh my God, that was fantastic.
With the cat hissing.
She says something totally outrageous, but it's like she believes it. It's like it's like
that's the thing. That's the thing. Exactly.
The delivery.
Exactly. She's so compelling in her insanity.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
And I liked when she said, "This fat suit smells like corn chips."
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
What was the name of the overly confident, morbidly obese woman?
Yes.
Write that down. Like what?
Who didn't even actually, by the way, look really morbidly obese.
No.
I feel like morbidly obese. I feel like they need to be 100 pounds overweight or more. And she looked more like that fat suit made her look maybe like 60 or 70.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't call
heavy,
that.
But not morbidly obese. I agree.
Yeah.
Who was yours, Ryan?
Maybe the cat that was hissing. Everybody else sucked.
No.
I'm just kidding. Although for some reason, watching the cat hiss did make me laugh. I'm like, it's just funny that like cat's just straight up hissing at him, not just being shy or not wanting to be in front of the camera, but like hissing. I don't know. I'm an
Did
easy.
she say something? Did she say something like, "Why are you making that sound?" or something like that? I forget.
Yeah.
She said something right as the cat started hissing. Like,
I'm an easy please when it comes to cats, but I will say it's tough for me to pick a favorite because coming into this, yeah, my favorite actor or person was Tracy Morgan. And what's his name? Alec Baldwin played the type of character that I usually enjoy the most. You know, the douchey, clueless, says stupid shit, and you know, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure laugh. He kicks down the door. But yeah, I think that Jenna Maroney person may have, at the very least, that she impressed me the most because she was somebody I hadn't seen. And I was just like, oh, who's that? And then like later, I'm like, oh, who's that? Is that the same person that was funny earlier? And I'm like, I think it is, but it's hard to tell because they introduced so many characters.
oh yeah, I have a long list of people.
Yeah, in different places and different elements. And it made it very difficult and confusing to, I mean, luckily we knew half the cast already. You know, we recognized them. So that part was easy. But then there are 4, 5, 6 other people that I wasn't sure if we had seen them already. I'm like, I don't remember if that person was already introduced to us. So I tried to put all their names down. There was a Pete. There was a Rachel Dratch character that came in. Don't remember her name.
Sarai, the intern-looking person.
Oh.
There's Frank, the guy with the ninja expert hat.
There was a Mr. Hornberger.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Oh, there was the dude that made me laugh when, I don't remember his name, but when they said, are there other black nerds or is it just you and Urkel?
That was a funny.
That was Frank.
Oh, that was funny.
That was Frank.
Frank is his name. Okay, yeah, I didn't have his name.
Yeah.
So you guys had, Darth, what made you laugh the most?
Damn, it's killing me because there was a line that Tracy Morgan said. I wanted to remember it. I should have written it down. But one thing that's cool about the pilot, since I'd seen the show before, was that I didn't know how all these guys came together. So it's fun to to have everything already kind of established and now see like where they all met and just the origin and everything, the beginning of the relationship, how Tracy Morgan actually got on, or Tracy Jordan got on the show. I had no idea. I was like, because without seeing, you're just seeing the show, and there's a guy on the show called The Girly Show. You're like, what the hell is going on that show? How did this show come to be?
Well, Darth, so you've seen this show a bunch of times.
Yep, 5, 10 episodes, probably something like that.
How do you feel this pilot episode stacks up compared to those? Is it a good representation of it? Do you feel like those other episodes average out to be funnier than this, or do you feel like this is pretty much what it is?
Honestly, I know obviously I've said the word solid about 1 million times describing the pilot, but I will say I do think the writing and the performers too, they just kept getting better and better. It's like one of those, all these guys, they just get better and better.
Okay. Was that line, one of the Tracy Jordan lines I thought was really funny was when he said, oh, they're doing stuff with the chicken nuggets, and he goes, it's a metaphor. And I'm like,
God, it was in that scene. I don't think I was there, but that was great.
putting poison in our chicken nuggets. It's a metaphor. So I'm like, I don't have no idea. Let's just list the funniest moments of the show, Malissa. What do you think?
All of them. Well, I mean, I am a Jedi had me cracking up pretty good. He's standing in the middle of the street in his underwear screaming, I am a Jedi. That's pretty funny. And everyone trying to do Jay Leno but couldn't do Jay Leno.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty funny. Because they all sounded the same.
Does anybody
exactly the same?
Does anybody have a Jay Leno impression here? Oh,
not after following those guys.
Let me give it a shot. He goes, and wait, no, I can't do it either. And no, can't do it. I thought I used to, but maybe I was wrong.
Been too long. I haven't seen him in so long.
Well, you started out with the end sounded like his voice.
Yeah, that was wrong. Kevin Eubanks and the Tonight Show Band. Wasn't that his band?
Is it?
I can't remember.
And yesterday on the Bill Clinton, the other day. It's terrible.
Yeah, now do Ray Romano.
See, I've never seen that show, but he sounded. It seemed like he had kind of a.
It was
Kermit
pretty
the Frog
spot on.
voice,
It was pretty
right?
good.
It was pretty spot
Like he
on.
talks kind of like this, like a Kermit the Frog kind of feel, but I'd have to actually hear him.
That was good.
I don't know.
Not so, not too bad for not hearing him. He's got a little bit more bass in his voice, but
so he's a little bit more like this, like
Oh, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Hey, Deborah.
Deborah, that's right. That was his wife's name.
My brother's tall. I just really liked when he said my brother's tall.
That's funny.
His brother was tall on the show.
What was it? Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
Yeah.
Everybody Loves Raymond and Everybody Hates Chris. That's what the two shows were, right?
Yeah, but the ironic thing, Everybody Hates Chris came out afterwards, and I assumed that Everybody Loves Raymond was like ironic because everybody doesn't love Raymond, no? So it's like Everybody Hates Chris is like more on the nose, I guess. I don't know.
Though Raymond's brother would always be like, everybody loves Raymond.
I know, yeah.
And wasn't the brother kind of doing a Romano impression himself? Like, I know that guy doesn't sound like it. He's like, I gotta try and sound more like I'm Ray Romano's brother.
Yeah, his voice in real life is higher than it was on the show.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever heard him.
But Muhammad did a great impression of him, by the way. Don't think we didn't notice. Okay, so Jack.
On the show, though,
no,
I love the scene where I think it was Jenna Maroney where somebody said something about whether she had cats, and she said, "I used to have cats, but I had to put them down because I got a hardwood floor."
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And then she says, "Oh, I was just kidding," or something.
Just kidding, and you wonder, like,
just kidding. No, she's
not,
because the look she got.
Or also Lisa Lemon at the strip club where she gave that woman the money, says for computer classes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Computer class is going to cost more than that, whatever it was.
And I love the closing line. You'll be hearing from Peanuts' lawyer. That was the cat's lawyer. I like that too.
Peanuts the kitty.
Rachel's right.
Yeah, there were a lot of really funny one-liners in there. Like this show did make me laugh out loud. Like do a little, huh? That's pretty much the best I'm ever gonna do when I'm watching a TV is go like, huh. And there are a few, like when Jack says to Hemorrhoid Cream Lady, he's like, well, wherever you're putting it seems to be working. Like, God, that is so douchey. That's funny. Or when Tracy said that's a metaphor, that was funny. When Jack says, that's how you should dress for work, by the way, when she says, yeah, if I was president of the Philippines.
Yes.
Solid joke. Good writing.
Yeah, that one got me.
That was good.
Good stuff. A lot of the funny lines were Jacked, obviously, because he's that kind of character that's going to be super douchey. And he says, I like you. You have the boldness of a much younger woman.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yes.
Ruthless.
I wrote that down.
And then he said, when the kid says, we own Kmart now? And Jack says, no. So why are you dressed like we do?
Yeah, judging by your clothes. Yeah, something like that. No, I'm just guessing by your wardrobe or something like that.
I could keep. Oh, okay. When they're in the strip club and the lady says, no, that's charisma over there. And then right when she points at charisma, the legs are like,
charisma. No, that's charisma.
Great timing. Little editing gags or direction gags are funny. Like at the beginning when she hands the lady the hot dog, the lady throws it at the trash can and the hot dog hits the trash can and falls. And I'm like, that is a better take than if the hot dog had gone in the trash can. I thought it was funnier, felt more New York.
And when it hit her in the head, that was funny too. Somebody threw it and it hit her in the head. What just
threw it back at her.
Dog.
Another funny thing, I'm just going to throw all these out right now so I can get them off my chest, is when at the end, Jack says to Liz, he says, "You weigh 127 pounds." And then top-notch douche goes, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow. I love it. That's very funny.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin was born to play roles like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Or when Tracy Morgan jumps in at the end of the show and he's like, "I'm here from the government and I'm here to inspect your chicken nuggets." That's very funny. Or when he says, when he's just peeing, like he's at his place and he's going like this.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "Wait, are you peeing?"
Oh my gosh.
That was great. Especially in that middle of that sentimental moment.
Yes.
I know. And
Great
I'm like, he's peeing. And then she said, "Are you peeing?" Like,
that whole gag.
That was great.
It's very good writing. I guess that's the short and skinny of it is, sure, Alec Baldwin delivers things in a funnier way than they're written. Same thing with Tracy Morgan. It's a lot of actors and that's their job. But a lot of it was just funny writing. And we probably, I'm guessing, have Tina Fey to thank for that. I'm sure that she's, if not the head writer, certainly one of them. That's kind of her forte is writing.
She created the show.
she did create the show.
I assumed. So good for her on that. Who else is any other member of the cast also part of the writing team? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe some of the intern guys, like the ninja guy. I know he's
Who is the ninja guy?
The ninja hat guy.
Frank.
Frank. That's his name.
Yeah.
Ninja expert.
Like trucker hat. Yeah, ninja expert. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take a quick look at this because I gotta know. Yeah, Tina Fey creator, of course.
I kind of assumed what's her name was based on who is the one that Tina Fey is always like doing stuff with. I think they came up together in improv.
Yeah, that's who I thought too. The blonde lady.
Yeah. Oh no. God.
Yeah, I can't remember her name right now either. The blonde lady. She got her start on. She started on Conan O'Brien.
Amy Fuller.
Amy Poehler.
Poehler.
So I assume that the blonde character was like kind of loosely based on her because both her and Tina Fey both came up.
Yeah, I actually expected to see Amy Poehler in this show.
Mm-hmm.
I like because usually Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are like they're always together. So I was like, oh, where's her tag team partner? But I'm checking to see if she'd written any of this, and it looks like no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize any of the actors' names as writers, so it's just Tina Fey and her writing team. It seems pretty cool.
Kudos to her.
Cool.
No, yeah.
Seems like the main writers on her team were people named Kay Cannon, Tammy Sauger, Robert Carlock, Donald Glover. Okay, we know Donald Glover.
All right. I thought his name was involved in there somehow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jack Burdett, Mike Hubbard, and Ron Weiner, and John Riggy. But yeah, no names I recognize.
I wonder if I bet that a couple, if not all those guys, were probably SNL writers too. Is my guess.
So
makes sense.
Mohammed, did you say what you know Jane Krakowski from?
That was Ally McBeal.
Oh, that's right.
From the most.
That's right.
And she was in other stuff too.
She's in other things too.
She was actually in a Law and Order, couple of Law and Order episodes when she said, "I played that female serial killer on Law and Order."
Oh, is she serious? I was like, oh, well.
But she has been on Law and Order, SVU, and one other.
I bet she's mostly a comedy actor. I can't really see her doing like anything dramatic. She seems more suited to comedy. Everything I've seen her.
She's really good at comedy. Yeah.
Wait. Did she play Ally? No, she didn't play Ally McBeal, right?
No.
She was one of the other characters in the show.
Okay.
That was
I didn't love. I know you guys were talking about him. I think his performance was great, but I didn't love the character Jack. This is Alec Baldwin's character. I mean that for me, like that weighed on me. But like I was like, the sort of this realistic toxic behavior. Like, I get it. I mean, it was part of the show, was advancing the plot, stuff like that. But like realistic toxic behavior, it grates on me. And then that combined with Frank also, who was being a little bit like that too. I'm like, So for me, those things.
Which one was Frank?
The ninja expert hat guy.
Okay. I'm never gonna
realistic toxic behavior thing that weighs. I mean, like I don't mind toxic behavior if it's like so over the top it's ridiculous. Where then it's just kind of funny. So like as an example, from Everybody Hates Chris, there's a character called Mr. Omar who is like a funeral director or something like that. And like whenever a guy would die, he would start hitting on the wife. But it was so like completely over the top.
Like Wedding Crashers, like Wedding Crashers when they went to the funeral or something, right?
Yeah, but in his case, like he would like literally there'd be scenes where like he was literally standing there over the dead body and be like, "So you want to go out?" Stuff like that, where it's like so completely unrealistic that I think it's funny. But when it's the Baldwin version, stuff like that, that was too realistic. Like, they kind of grated on me a little bit. Like,
he did his job very well.
He did his job very well, but for me, like I don't want. I mean, I see enough of that in the real world. I don't want to see more of that.
You're escaping that watching this stuff.
There you go. So that for me brought the whole show down a little bit. Like I don't want to see more of that.
Interesting, but so you didn't find it to be funny?
I mean, very lightly so. Like I like when he was talking about the trifection of it and stuff like that. That was kind of funny. But when he was like picking on her weight and stuff, like, oh my god, just stop.
Yeah, I thought that was horrible too.
It was supposed to be horrible. It was meant to be horrible. So I mean, it was accomplishing the goal. But
I thought it was funny because it was so douchey. Not because I think douchebags are funny, but like but because that's who he was supposed to be, and he did it well.
No, I agree with that part. I just don't want to see that.
Yeah, it was, to me, it was the most commonly used trope. You know, it's like Steve Carell character in The Office, or in, it feels like almost every show has that guy.
Conflict. Yeah,
he's like the typical, and that's why I expected, honestly, to not really care for his character, because I'm like, I've seen this trope 1,000 times over, and it's not going to do anything, and he's not going to bring anything new to it that's going to make it any better than any of the millions of others. But it actually ended up making me laugh and probably having the most of the funny lines to me.
Steve Carell was again more over the top, so I feel like that for me that was more okay, because
that's what I was thinking of when you're talking about those kind of characters.
Makes sense.
But I also felt from his character that he also has a soft spot that Liz Lemon was kind of hitting.
In the ending, especially.
So I liked that dynamic of his character too. So he wasn't full douche. There was
go full douche.
Oh my god.
But he seems like somebody who has a soft spot, and
it does seem like that, especially with the ending there where he agreed to our demands and stuff.
Got to have that soft spot in his heart for so he's not completely unlikable.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a soft spot in our
the opposite
hearts,
of unlikable.
Yeah. Malissa Longo, let's talk about you for a minute here.
Oh boy.
How are you? And what do you do? For people that are just seeing you for the first time ever, who's Malissa Longo?
Malissa Longo is kind of a Jane of all traits. I don't know, traits. Acting is my main passion. I've been a performer since I was 6 years old. So it's something that's part of who I am, and even when I try to walk away from it, I can't. So and then I do a whole lot of other things on the side to help pursue acting, because these people get to make millions of dollars doing it, but that's not the reality for most actors or performers.
Give it a few more years of inflation. We'll all be making $1 million a year too.
Oh my gosh.
But everything else will cost $1 billion. So
IMDb says you were named after an actress. Is that right?
An Italian actress named.
Is that? Well, what's her last name? Yeah.
Her last name is Longo.
Oh, really?
She's an Italian actress named Malissa Longo, and my mother saw her in a Bruce Lee movie, Way of the Dragon, and she's like, I really like it. It's not Melissa, but it's Malissa. So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I recognize her.
Born 1950.
Yeah. Way of the Dragon.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Mm-hmm. And be careful because she's been in some skin.
Okay.
Some stuff.
I'll close that out. I won't just start clicking buttons then.
No.
She's been in like Thundercats or something.
Right.
Ryan does not have a good track record when it comes to doing innocent searches.
Yeah.
You were in something this year called Assassin's Apprentice. Is that right?
In 2019, was it filmed?
2019?
The end?
Coming out this year, though.
Yeah, it is coming out this year.
So tell us about that. I don't know anything about the show or what your role was in it.
Well, what did I play? Oh, Sophia. And it was one line, and I was able to get my SAG card from that.
Nice.
Right.
Production, something that I'd been working towards for, gosh, a really long time. I'm not going to say how long because,
It's okay.
That'll give away my age, but but maybe not. I started young, so
yeah, you said 6.
Yeah. So, but
wow,
actively trying for a very long time.
It's not an easy thing to do. Sometimes people get lucky and get it quickly, and other times, for the rest of us, takes a bit of work, takes a bit of time.
Yeah. So on the side, I, created a business that's in the works. Some new stuff is happening there. So there'll be a kind of a relaunch soon. So.
Oh, fun. We like relaunches.
This is Walking Art Made by Malissa. Is this business you're referring to? Nice. Great walking art, as you say. And on the acting room, you have a project called Glass Stars coming up too, right?
Huh? Yeah, Catherine R. King wrote the script, and it's going through different script festivals and competitions, and it's doing really well. But it's a really great script, and I love the part that she has cast me in, and Lily Rhodes, and I can't wait to explore her.
Nice.
Lily Rhodes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you know when shooting begins, or is that not set?
There's supposed to be a table read in August.
Okay. That's soon. That's next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
The last week in August.
No. No.
We have an appointment with you then.
Yeah.
Yes. I have an appointment in Vegas that week. So
actually, speaking of which, everybody at home, we will see you in Las Vegas in the last week of August at the Star Trek convention. Darth, Melissa, myself.
The last week.
I hope you didn't ask for time off from work.
I haven't requested.
Okay, good. I'll make sure that you have the proper dates. It is usually the first weekend of August. So it's usually like around the 3rd or 4th or 9th or something like that. But this time it's 25th through 28th, something like 24th, 28th, something like that. Anyway, we'll take care of that later. That's not terribly important now, but all 4 of us will be there. We'll see you there. Melissa, I've got one more question for you, though. And it's a hot seat question because Muhammad and I like to bully people. So here it comes.
Okay.
Muhammad leaves a ring shape on your forehead when he's done with you. All right. The question is, what is your favorite creative outlet? Is it acting or writing or singing or podcasting or making functional art? other quilting?
You're
What
a
do you
great
got?
person to ask that question because you do it all.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really a difficult. That's a difficult question because I get something different out of everything, but it all pretty much boils down to the same thing that I am that is so passionate in me, and that's storytelling. And if I can get to the root of a story and explore people and the human condition, and that's stuff that I love to do. And one of the reasons I love acting so much is to figure out what makes people tick and why they make the choices that they make. And singing does that, dancing does that, drawing and creating and all of that stuff. All of it does that to a degree. So, and maybe acting is the top of that because I can, it's, I don't know, it's more, hands-on. I don't know. It's more, you can do that in a broader sense with fewer restrictions. Maybe not. I don't know.
Sounds like
Acting
you're
is
a
great because
bard.
acting involves kind of all those pieces together, right? Because it's an art
Exactly.
form, but you're using behavior as well as your voice, as well as everything. So I can see that. That
Right.
makes sense.
Right. You just said it way more eloquently than I did.
Not at all.
Well, Malissa,
Just echoing you, that's all.
That means if we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you're like a bard, you're like the musician or the storyteller. You're like, gather around the campfire, everybody. Let me lighten the mood by telling you stories and singing you songs.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, everybody, I'm sure a lot of people watching know Malissa from like Fallingtower, from Seventh Rule, from Virtual TrekCon, and always bringing like great insights and elaborating them really eloquently. I mean, yeah, I can see it. It all comes together well, and you're great at it.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much.
Darth, you're great at it too. So
I love you too, Darth.
But Darth is more of a rogue. He's more of a rogue in the D&D stuff.
The D&D realm.
But now, everybody, you know what time it is. Muhammad's doing the karate chop.
Karate chop.
It is time, you guessed it, for the terrible twos. And that's
bottom
all
line.
it ever
Bottom
has
line.
been.
That's what it's called. Bottom line.
You're doing Mike proud today. Terrible twos, everybody. It's the final two questions of the show. Darth is like, is this getting awkward? What's happening here? Question number one, everybody. It's a toughie. Muhammad, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what would you give this first episode of 30 Rock entitled Pilot? Look, Darth's already leaning back like, oh boy, like he's never heard this. But he's like, anyway, what do you say, Muhammad?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love the performances. I thought the writing was really good. I actually would have liked more slapstick to it, but I think there was a good amount in there to it. Maybe it's just the first episode where they have to introduce so many characters. You can only add so much of that element to it. The thing that brings it down for me, like I said, was the realistic toxic characters. So that was both Frank, ninja expert guy, as well as Jack. And I'm just like, I just don't want to see that. I mean, they did their jobs well, but I don't want to see it. So for me personally, I would say it comes around a 7.5, which is still, very solidly in the positive territory. But I'm like, if those guys could just leave, it would go up to like 8.5.
Okay, not too bad, not too shabby. Melissa, scale of 1 to 10, same question to you.
So I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised. I liked it more than I thought I would. No dissing on any of the actors in the show, but I know that they're pretty great. I don't know much about Chris Morgan, right?
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
And then also Tracy Jordan, just to confuse us further.
Right. So, and I'm going to knock it down a bit for the guy who cut in line at the hot dog stand, because that burns my butt too. Don't be a bully and don't cut in
Might have just been Taco
line.
Bell.
I haven't had Taco Bell.
Did he actually get a hot dog in the end? I never actually caught. Because she bought them all, so I'm guessing he didn't get one, right?
Nope.
No.
Wow.
Bought him so he wouldn't get him.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. Very close.
Mm-hmm.
Which ones?
What say you, Darth? Scale of 1 to 10?
Let's go 10. It's solid. It's great all around. Everybody's great. Yeah. Have I given 10s before? Sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to give out higher marks than a Star Wars show,
Told you guys he was a wild card. So you're giving it a 10, Darth. What was so good about it that makes it a 10 to you?
Damn. See, I was worried that I'm basing that a little bit on the stuff I've already seen of the show. I see how great these guys are, but mostly, just the writing and just the perfect casting with these all these characters. They're all just so these guys are made to play these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Great casting, great lines, and everybody's got great delivery with these lines. So
great.
It's just a tight little package. The pilot.
I say that's a line Jack would say. Just kidding.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Tight lips.
Yeah. All right. So up next is Ryan. And, I did like this more than I expected. And I did come at it with somewhat of a sourpuss disposition. I was kind of like, I felt like Missouri, the show me state. I was like, you better show me that you're good because I'm not going to like you just because everybody else does. I give it an 8.3 because it was I felt like I could have come in and said, this doesn't work or this doesn't work, or I could add or take away things like, what do I know? But I'm not better than these guys. But, we all have those kinds of feelings. But the bottom line is that I laughed. And, if it's a sitcom and it makes you laugh and it makes you feel good overall, then it deserves high marks. In Muhammad's case, some of it made him not feel good overall, and that's why I got a little lower. I give it an 8.3. I don't know if it was really as good as an 8.3, but again, the final say is if it's a sitcom, if it's a comedy and it makes you laugh, that's job number one, and that was done. But now it's time for question number 2, which is, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of 30 Rock, entitled Pilot. Now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Muhammad, would you, of your own volition, watch the second episode?
I would, though not by a lot, because like I said, the one aspect kind of bugged me. There's enough shows that don't have that, but I would. I mean, especially given that I know a lot of people who say the show is great, especially as you go forward, and as Malissa pointed out rightly too, it seemed like maybe even Jack has elements that could be capitalized upon later and built up, where it's like, okay, he's not total douche, he's just 90% douche. So I would watch another one.
What about you, Malissa? Would you watch the second episode of your own volition?
Yes, I would. I laughed again. I laughed far more than I thought I would, and I found it very enjoyable. It was a pleasant surprise all around, I think, for me. So, and that's not just because of the hype.
And not just because you're the star of the show.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Darth, we are all on pins and needles, waiting on bated breath.
No idea what I thought of it.
What we can't. We know that this mission stands on the edge of a sword. Would you watch the second episode? That's a Lord of the Rings quote, everybody. Would you watch the second episode of your own volition?
Most definitely. I'm thinking about it already.
It would have been hilarious if you were like 10, but no.
No. Oh, hell. Why would I watch another one of those? I saw one.
It was perfect. Stop there.
The true wild card.
Yeah.
10, but no.
It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah.
I myself am not. I'm giving it a no. I was very close, but if the question is, would I of my own volition watch the second episode? I had no real pull to watch the second episode. There was no part of me, didn't end on a cliffhanger where I had to see what happened next. It didn't leave me so high that I was like, wow, I got to watch another one. And I felt no tug when that episode ended to click next episode. There was nothing. It felt very satisfying. In fact, this is not the highest I've given and said a no to. Just very recently, well, I'll just give you a hint. Sometime in the last 4 or so episodes, Farscape, Last Man on Earth, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, Love, Death, and Robots, and Cheers. In the last 5 episodes, I've given a very high mark, an extremely high mark to something and said no because, what I do have a curiosity for this show is I would be curious to go to, say, season 5 and see how the show is developed, see how the characters have developed, see if it's the same. But the second episode, I don't really have any curiosity or pull to watching the second. But those are our answers, everybody. Give us your hate mail in the comments below. Tell us, scale of 1 to 10, what do you give 30 Rock as a series? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think we're right or wrong? What's the deal with Darth's hat? Let us know. What do you think? Wow. If everybody was so supportive of dumb jokes as Malissa, we'd all be better people. Thank you, Malissa. You make us feel better about ourselves.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
All right. I think that's about it. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for joining us as a special guest co-host. And Malissa Longo and Darth Shui, thanks so much for joining us as guests. This has been fun. If you'd like us to review a show, in the comments below, just type in WTF and the show. You want us to see, you could say WTF, All in the Family, WTF, Mama's Family, WTF, Family Matters, WTF. That's all the families I can think of. But
Family Ties?
Family Ties. Family Feud. Right. Very good.
Nice.
Very good. That's all it. Yeah.
All in the Family.
Yeah. That's the first one I said.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, thanks very much. If you can think of another show that has the word family in it,
Family Guy.
give it to us. Family Guy.
Oh, there you go.
We are going on forever. That is champion stuff right there, guys. We have got this. Right now,
Mama's
Muhammad.
Family.
I said that one. I got Mama's
Oh, you said Mom's Family. Shoot, I forgot that.
Valerie's Family.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when
Hogan
Valerie...
Intermediate stage between Valerie and the Hogan family.
Exactly. Valerie went from Valerie to Valerie's Family to the Hogan family.
Hogan Family.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Hogan's Heroes. Here we go.
Now we can riff off that now. All the Hogans.
Greatest
The
American
Waltons
hero.
family.
Ooh,
Just kidding. Just kidding. It's just the Waltons.
Bye, everybody.
Nice, John boy.
We'll see y'all next time. Oh, and
don't
this
forget to
podcast,
be an organ
right?
donor.
Yeah, this podcast
Yeah.
was 30 on a scale of 1 to 10, and it rocked.
This podcast was lots of fun. Love fest. Yay, happiness.
This podcast had a large amount of douche said. I gotta count how many times it was said. Sorry.
It's on you, Darth.
This show is funny, so you should watch it.
Wow. Great work, everybody. So thanks very much. We'll see you next time. And always remember what Michael Kenyon Rosenberg likes to say.
Don't forget to be an organ donor, and don't forget to watch the first of things.
Freeze frame, like Michael.
Shitty smile.